Now, the history of the matchup, 49ers and Bears have actually played a lot of times. They've played the 49ers lead the series. 49ers have 35 wins, 32 losses, and one tie. It's close. The history of this uh, matchup's close. The 49ers have won 5 out of the last 8 and 11 out of the last 17, which again, I think it tells the story of how bad the Bears have been. They had those two couple good years with Urlacher back in the day, and one good year with, when they traded for Khalil, which he's gone now. And they've just been bad. It's just a lot of bad quarterback play. And I think Fields will overturn that. Now, the matchup last year was awesome. We were able to go there. We had the 49ers Rush road trip there. We're doing it again this week. But last year was interesting because, again, as I said, 49ers were dead last in the NFC West going into that game, 2-4, tied with Seattle. But the 49ers came out on top, 33-22. Jimmy Garoppolo had a very interesting game, 17 of 28, 322 yards. 85 of those were on a screen pass to Debo where he just took it the distance. Got tackled on the 1-inch line, right? So I guess not totally different. And Garoppolo had 2 rushing touchdowns. It was a Chicago game, man. Fields had his best game, not necessarily passing. Fields went 19 for 27, 175 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But he also rushed for 103 yards and a touchdown and had some major third and long conversion plays that were just kind of spectacular, lack of a better word. Mitchell, he went 18 for 137 yards, 1 touchdown. Elijah Mitchell. Herbert had a good game, 23 rush attempts, 72 yards. Debo, 6 catches, 171. Mooney, 6 catches, 64 yards. And the Bears really controlled the time of possession. 37 minutes to the 49ers 23. Not ideal. David Montgomery, probably their best offensive player. He didn't even play for Chicago, but listen to the guys the 49ers missed last year. Aziz, out. Greenlaw, out. Kinlaw, out. Our kicker, Robbie Gould, out. Kittle was out last year. He might not play this week. He didn't play against them last year either. So a lot of guys that were out. Now, both teams, the Bears and the 49ers, have added a lot of players. None like the Bears, though. Good gosh. Talk about roster turnover. They've got 5 projected starters that they got in the draft. Now, similar to the 49ers, who traded up for quarterbacks in the prior year's draft, 49ers traded up for Trey Lance. Bears traded up for Justin Fields. They didn't have a first-round pick. Neither did we. Didn't stop them from, again, projected starters. Kyler Gordon, cornerback, second round, who I loved. He's going to be starting corner. Jaquan Brisker, second round, who I liked. He's going to be starting. Velus Jones, third round. Thought that was a big reach, but he's starter for him. This one's probably the biggest. Braxton Jones, 5th round offensive tackle pick. And it's not all right. I'm not bagging on small school players. I love small school players. Trey Lance, right? Some of that stuff. He played at Southern Utah, the Fighting Thunderbirds. He's starting at left tackle. That's not great against Nick Bosa. So you go from starting Southern Utah, your 5th round pick. Now your first game starting at left tackle is against Nick Bosa. That right there alone is probably the one matchup where it's like, oh my gosh, that this could be catastrophic. It could be catastrophic for the entire game. They also got a punter, Trenton Gill, in the 7th round, who's now their starting punter. A free agency, they added a bunch. Nicholas Morrow from the Raiders. He's going to be the Sam backer. Al Quadrin Muhammad from the Colts, starting defensive end. Lucas Patrick from Green Bay, starting center. Claimed Alex Leatherwood from the Raiders. He's going to be kind of the backup Daniel Brunskill role. I'm not sure he's going to get much playing time. He just got brought on. And Brian Pringle from the Chiefs. So that's 8 new starters, right? You've got 22 starters, 11 and 11. I did count the punter, so you can throw that in there as well. But that's a third of a new freaking team starting wise. And the problem is this: none of them are premier level talent. Even if some of those draft picks pan out as studs, none of them were top tier draft picks. None of them first rounders. You look at the free agents, none of those guys were prize free agents. The Bears are rebuilding their entire team. And this is not that they're tanking, but they're freeing up cap space. They're freeing up draft capital to build for the future. Bears are not, they're even rebuilding their stadium and changing the location of their stadium and all those things. So this is 100% just build for the future. They're not expecting any returns this year. They're trying to figure out if Justin Fields can be their guy. Now, the 49ers have added players too. Spencer Burford, 4th rounder. Samuel Womack, 5th rounder. And if you want to talk trash on their 5th round tackle, well, guess what? Our 4th round guard, UTSA. Small schools come across, and that's okay. If you're looking at, added depth, Charvarius Ward from the Chiefs, Ray McLeod. I don't think he's a starter, more of a punt returner. He'll be kind of that 4th wide receiver, maybe 3rd wide receiver ahead of Juwan Jennings, but I think they're going to kind of rotate.
The 49ers Rush Podcast.